the company. I've only had one return, and it was actually a product that had barely been opened, and it is something that we were using ourselves, so I kept it for myself. I've actually never ever had to send a product back to Forever. So if you ask me the procedure for that, I don't know. It's that simple. Okay, now obviously tonight the whole idea was to give a general overview of the products that primarily the main key products of our catalog, and nothing is more sort of logic than starting with talking about the products that come inside the starting kit, because the starting kit, the new distributor pack that people purchase when they first start, contains the top 18 fastest selling products in the catalog. So it would make sense to me that we start with those products. So I'm going to straight away get on with the first product that we're going to talk about tonight, which is aloe vera jelly. Now, aloe vera jelly, the reason why we tend to always start with aloe vera jelly is because if you open the tube and you look inside the tube, the gel that comes out of that tube is it's virtually identical to if you were squeezing a green leaf of aloe, because the gel inside it is between 96 and 98% pure aloe vera gel. Okay, now what is aloe vera jelly good for? Well, basically, the way you need to think about it is think about it as a first aid kit in a tube. It's basically great on anything that the skin needs to cope with, in particular minor traumas. So it can be great on sting, bites, cuts, burns, very, very important on burns, bumps, spots, any kind of little things that can happen to your skin if you scratch yourself, etc. Particularly on burn. Burn is really what make aloe famous all around the world, and what this particular product will do, the properties that we're going to use in regards to this particular product is definitely the fact that it's an analgesic, so it's going to kill, it's going to relieve the pain. It's an antipyretic, so it's going to relieve the itching, but it's most importantly an antiseptic, so it's going to kill any kind of potential infection that you might have in the open wound in particular. It's absolutely brilliant as a moisturizer. It penetrates really, really deep through the tissues, which is why when you burn yourself, it actually helps the burn by just relieving the heat from the skin, and then basically moisturizing the skin instantly, which prevents the blistering to happen, killing straight away the pain as well, and helping scarring any kind of burns probably 72 hours faster than anything else known to man. Okay, this is absolutely brilliant on any kind of open wounds. Any kind of open wounds you will find that you scar a lot faster and a lot better than anything else that you can actually know. So it helps reduce the scarring. It makes it nice and neat. If you could see my thumb, and that's a little story I'm going to tell you about this particular product. About a year or so ago, it was in January last year, I bought myself for Christmas a mandolin. A mandolin is a cooking utensil that actually slices vegetables very rapidly. And I wanted to check if the blade was sharp or not. And I basically ended up cutting a slice of potato, another slice of potato, and on the third slice, about a quarter of my thumb left just basically ended up on the floor. It was very, very, very deep and very, very large wound. Ended up having to go to hospital, and when we went to hospital, I asked only to put aloe vera jelly. So what they did is they said, no problem, we know that aloe vera is very good for scarring, we're going to put aloe vera jelly. It's a natural antiseptic, it's going to keep the wound very nice and fresh, and it's actually going to help scarring much quicker. And what they did is they put a film of silicone, that's what they put now, so it doesn't basically get attached to the dressing, and then basically once you've got the silicone, then they basically dress it up nicely. And she said, the nurse said to me, every 10 days change the silicone. It should take you about 30 days before the wound is fully sealed. 10 days later, I removed the dressing, I removed the silicone film just so I can put another one in, and to my surprise, after just 10 days, the whole wound was fully sealed. It was very pink, but it was fully sealed, and she had told me it was going to take 30 days. It only took 10 days. That absolutely blew my mind. And if you had seen the size of the gash that I had on my thumb, you would probably expect a scar for probably about, at least half an inch. And it turns out that now, even when I'm looking to it very closely, I can barely see anything at all. So that's basically what aloe vera can do to any kind of scarring. It's brilliant anywhere you can reach. It can help with things like babies teething. So it's so safe you can actually put it in your mouth. It can actually help with sore throat. You just put it on a teaspoon and then just swallow it, and it's actually going to help with the irritation of the back of your throat. It's also good on things like hemorrhoids. As we said, it goes everywhere it can reach. So there you go. Another thing that you need to know is it's brilliant for skin conditions. It's brilliant for anything like eczema, dry skin, psoriasis. Obviously, you want to make sure that if the wound is really wide and open, you may prefer to use the spraying version of aloe vera jelly, which is what we call aloe first, because this might actually be more comfortable for the person than having some gel being put straight onto the wound. But it basically helps enormously on skin conditions. Okay. I'm just double checking, but basically I think we've covered more or less everything about aloe vera jelly. So as I said, it's pure enough so you can even put it in your mouth, swallow it. It's great on gingivitis. It's great on mouth ulcers. It's great, as I said, on baby teething, but it can also be great on athlete's foot. It can be great on cracked heels. It can be great when you've got cold sores. It can be great when you've got mosquito bites. It can be great when you bump your head. Basically, it's a first aid kit in a tube. So we've covered aloe vera jelly. Now we're going to go to a couple of our soothing lotions. The first one we're going to talk about is the aloe propolis cream. What we've mentioned is the fact that Forever Living is one of the major leaders in the aloe vera field. We represent 87% of the world production of organically grown aloe veras. What we haven't mentioned is we are also the largest beekeepers in the world, and we are using a lot of the bee products into the products that we do, and one of the products that we use primarily is propolis, because propolis is a natural antibiotic coming from the beehive. It's basically the coating that the bees do when they first start to create a hive, because both the bees and the queen bee don't have an immune system, and it actually helps them obviously survive in a sterile environment, particularly protecting the queen bee. So why do we use propolis cream? Well, there you go. You actually have a product again that contains about 60 to 64% of pure aloe vera into it. But as I mentioned to you before, because of the lignin of the aloe vera, if we mix anything with aloe vera, it's actually going to take to the lowest levels of the derma, to the cellular level where the new cells are being generated. It's going to grab everything with it and take it there. Now, if you actually have something which is in itself an antiseptic, an antifungal, an antiviral, an anti-inflammatory, an analgesic, an antipyretic, a bactericide, and you add to that a very strong natural antibiotic, imagine how great it's going to be on any kind of infections that your skin might have. And that's particularly great for eczema or psoriasis or diverticulitis, that sort of things, because it's basically going to help regenerate brand new skin cells which will be healthy and which will have basically got rid of any kind of infections. What it will do is, at the lowest level of your derma, where the brand new skin cells are being created, the aloe is going to bring the propolis. The propolis is going to basically eradicate any kind of infection. So the new cells that are going to be produced are going to be healthy cells. And as the healthy cells are raising to the top, and it takes about 28 days for the whole of your skin to regenerate. So within about 28 days, the skin cells that you start to see appearing on the top of your skin happen to be healthy skin cells. And the more you use propolis, the more basically the new cells that are being created come up healthy, and obviously eventually over a period of anything between 4 and 6-7 weeks, you start to see some phenomenal results of scarring, of repairing, and of eradication of infection on some skin levels. Okay. As far as things like eczema or psoriasis, it's a great alternative to creams which usually contain steroids and have very large amount of side effects. So it's a very healthy alternative to steroid creams. It's also an extremely deeply moisturizing cream, so you don't need to have necessarily eczema or psoriasis or skin conditions. If you just have a bit of dry skin, if you have, you know, in the winter, if your hands have the skin which starts to be a bit dried or a bit cracked, or that's going to be absolutely brilliant. It's going to regenerate some really good skin, and even just in a matter of a couple of days, you will see a big difference straight away using this particular cream. Okay, so it's richly moisturizing, very calming, very soothing. Now, basically, yes, I would say this is the cream that you want to recommend particularly to mommies who have young children with eczema and the doctors just prescribe some steroid creams, because the damages that those steroids can do to a young child are probably not even worth putting it on the skin to clear out something like eczema. So just obviously keep in mind this in particular, but you will find that when you actually even just have an itchiness in your, you know, sometimes you've got an itchiness somewhere, it could be on your bum, or it could be on your elbow, it could be wherever, just put a little bit of propolis cream and you're going to realize that the itchiness goes almost immediately. Okay, now I'm going to move on to the next one, because I obviously want to, I don't want to keep you for 3 or 4 hours. I just want to make sure that within the next sort of 45 minutes or so, we're going to be finished. The next one is called Aloe Heat Lotion. Now, the heat lotion, as the name mentioned it, is basically a deep penetrating, soothing and warming lotion that's basically going to go straight away to the joints or to the muscles. Okay, and once again, because of the aloe, that cream, instead of stagnating on the surface of the skin like most of its usual competitors that you would find in supermarkets or in Boots or in Superdrug, this one takes the sort of the heating agents all the way to the deep cellular levels of your muscles and of your joints, which means that its action is much more effective and it's long lasting. This is a product that you could use when you want to warm up your muscle before you do exercise, when you've just done exercise and you're a bit worried that the next day you might have muscle aches, so you might want to put it on, so it's actually going to relieve your muscle aches, and the next morning you wake up and you're actually fresh as a bird. It could be something that you put because you actually have proper pain, whether it's arthritis, whether it's just basically, you know, aches and pains that people are getting especially when they grow old, and then just by putting some heat lotion, it really soothes. It's so soothing, it's unbelievable. Now, it could be great when you've got like neck pain or shoulder pain or back aches, all that sort of things. Another thing that you need to know about this particular product is, because it's a very natural product, it doesn't contain any nasty chemicals into it, you can actually use it above the neck. And actually, if you look at, say, the main, I would say the most famous competitor to this product would be a product called Deep Heat. And Deep Heat contains so many chemicals that actually on the labels it says do not put above the neck, because the chemicals attack particularly the eyes, and really it's very uncomfortable, and it can be actually quite dangerous. It can really damage your eyes. While here you can actually use it above the neck, and the reason why you would be using it above the neck is it actually can help you with headaches, it can help you with sinusitis, it can help you with migraines. It's absolutely brilliant. I personally use it when I have sinusitis. I put it on the bridge of my nose, I put it on my temples, I put it on my forehead, and I rub it in the back of my neck. Within a matter of 5 to 10 minutes, the headaches is gone and I'm feeling already so much better. It's also something you could use as a vapor rub, if in case you have a chesty cough, for example. And that can actually be true on a 3-month-old baby. It's that safe, you could use it on a baby. Okay, now don't put too much of it, because it can really get quite hot. But the funny thing about this product, and that's another anecdote I would like you to know, is that product seems to only heat when it's supposed to heat. Like if you actually have a sharp pain somewhere in your leg and you put some of that cream all around your leg, you will find that the only place that it really heats up is actually where your pain is. I find that absolutely incredible. I've had countless amounts of examples of when that exact thing happened, and it actually baffles me every single time. Okay. The other thing is some pains need heat and some pains actually need cold compress. And if you actually have one of those pains that actually needs cold compress and you put this product on, it's not going to heat up. And that's your cue that instead of putting the heat lotion on, you would better be off going to the freezer and grab a bag of frozen peas. Isn't that an amazing product? I absolutely love this product and I recommend everybody to be using it. Moving on swiftly, some lotions. Those are more like the products that's going to help you look even more beautiful than you are. We're going to start with the body scrub. The aloe vera scrub is obviously an exfoliator. It's a brilliant exfoliator. And the reason why it's a little bit different from any other exfoliators you would find is, one, it obviously contains a very, very large quantity of aloe vera. And two, instead, which is obviously very good for the skin, as you can understand. But the second reason is most exfoliators you would find in mainstream supermarkets or shops will contain broken eggshells or broken seashells as the little sharp bits that actually help get rid of the dead skin. And the engineers in Forever, that just give you an idea of how people in Forever think. They thought, we don't want to actually use things that can actually damage the skin. We are selling products that actually help with the skin, so we want to make sure that every single aspect of our products is good for the skin. So what they did is, instead of using those really sharp seashells or eggshells, what they did is they created micro bubbles of jojoba oil, which basically, as you probably know, jojoba oil is something which is extremely good to nourish the skin. But by having them in micro bubbles, which are quite hard, at the very start when you basically exfoliate your skin with a scrub, those bubbles are going to basically be getting rid of all your dead skin. But as you go and rub and rub and rub and rub, suddenly the bubbles dissolve and suddenly the jojoba goes straight into the new cells of skin, which is basically absolutely brilliant for your skin. I have yet to come up with anyone ever saying anything negative about this product ever. It's the one product that every single person, when they use it, they're like, oh my god, this is absolutely brilliant. I've never used anything like this before. So I absolutely recommend that you use it because it is really, really special. And then once you've actually used the scrub maybe on your face or on your body, what you might want to do is to obviously moisturize. We've got two types of moisturizing. One is a fine texture moisturizing, which is the aloe lotion, which is water-based and itself contains also some jojoba oil as well as some vitamin E. It's a beautiful, thin, moisturizing lotion that penetrates almost instantly into the skin and leave you fresh and nice for the rest of the day. Absolutely beautiful. The other one is a much richer texture, slightly more oily based, but this one is really great, especially as an anti-aging lotion, because it contains collagen and elastin. And collagen and elastins are two substances. The collagen is basically here to sort of beef up your skin cells, and the elastin is here to actually keep them supple. So they are much beefed up, but basically supple at the same time, which means that your skin lines on your face and so on could actually quite